Hello, this is Minash Patel. This is January 19th, 2011. This is our weekly Ichimoku analysis for the global markets everywhere, where we cover everything from the US to Europe to Asia and to even South America. Okay, normal disclaimer. If I could ever get to the next slide, this is for educational use only. All charts are either in Thinkorswim, TradeStation, or FreeStockCharts.com. Here are my contact details, and you can follow us on Twitter at Ichimoku Trading and also our website, eiicapital.com. Okay, so let's go start looking at global markets first, as we normally do. So I'll pull up freestockcharts.com, and we'll start off and go to Europe. We'll start going in Germany because it's always been the strongest one out of Germany. Shrink this chart down. That's the wrong way. And we're talking about the level here. The German market getting about to 72.90. That's been our target level. It's getting closer there now, but it's still bullish trending on the daily, on the weekly time frame. So this market's still going on very healthy, and we're looking for at least to get to about 72.90 before we start seeing any pullbacks, major pullbacks, and so forth to occur. Okay, so that's Frankfurt. Let's go to the London market. London market still strong too. Not as strong as the German, remember, because that's been trending for a while. Uh, but if you look here, the FTSE market, which is London, it's at 6056, which is at one of the major levels. If it breaks that level, it definitely will get down back all the way back up here to about 62.98. Key question is what's going to happen here. But there is one major level at this level right now. So time will tell what will happen here. But this is bullish trending on the weekly time frame now too. Let's go look at the Paris market because it was the weakest of all the Europeans outside the, all the Ireland and all those countries out there. If you look at Paris market, if we zoom in, it's actually just now starting to get to the top of the consolidation pattern. So this is not trending at all yet, but it's definitely got to break this level 4077 to even start a trend. And it does have a possibility of doing that, but considering it's the lagger of all the other markets in Europe, it probably may not sit there and do that at all. So only time will tell. It probably looks like it'll get to the top of the range and it'll stop just when the German market got to the level that we were talking about and the FTSE gets to the next level there. Let's see, we also have in here, let's just go through here, Spain market, we've added this one in there. If you look at it, price is basically in the cloud, so this is telling us you're consolidating. Israel market, let's go look at Israel. Israel is broken out now above its high here. So it looks like it's starting to bullish trend, but we need a big little pop to start moving up for the Israel market to start a bullish trend to the top side. Okay, so I think we've covered Europe really well. Let's go down to South Africa before we start moving over to Asia. If you look at the South African market, that's bullish trending very nicely right now, and it's continuing to trend. One thing key is it's got to stay above this level of 70, 48, 98 in order for this trend to keep intact. Okay, so let's go over to Asia now. Let's go start with the Chinese market, which last year didn't really produce that well. And you could see here, it's not doing that great right now because it got a gap down here into the cloud. So we're basically consolidating for the Chinese market right now. It doesn't look too bullish at all or bearish. It's pretty much just consolidating overall. Next one we're going to look at is the Hong Kong market. If you look at the Hong Kong market, it broke through above here. It's kind of almost dead a miniature double top, a little less than a double top, but it needs to continue to move up in order for this bullish trend to continue. If it breaks this Kijun value at 23, let's see what that level is, 22,680, then this bullish trend will be over. And it'll be entering a pullback phase. But right now, this is bullish trending and looks okay. That's the Hong Kong market. Let's go over to the Nikkei in Japan. If you look at Japan, finally broke out of the cloud. And this future cloud looks like they're about to invert. Honestly, if this thing comes back down here to this level right here, around 20,243, and then bounces off that and breaks this pivot, this thing's going to start taking off. and then has a possibility of actually going all the way back up to 11,500. Remember, we've been talking about the Nikkei possibly breaking out and starting a bullish trend this year for 2011. So this could be the market for 2011 where you get the biggest gains for out of any of the global markets. Let's move over now to the Indian market. Let's go to the Sensex. Remember, we've been talking about the Sensex pulling back. Sensex finally pulled back below 19,000. If you look at it, it's still not ideal at all right now to buy or to sell. Remember, this is bullish trending and it's entering its pullback phase. It's basically violated the Kijun-sen, but the Kijun-sen still hasn't changed. So key thing is what's going to happen. My guess is that it's going to at least come back to the baseline, which is the Kijun-sen value of 19,449, and then the question is going to be what's going to happen at that level. There's a high possibility it's going to get to that level, bounce off that, and then come all the way back down to this level here of 18,353. So that's kind of the level that we're thinking that the market may hold here. If it breaks there, then it definitely can sit there and go a lot lower, all the way down into 17,000 range. Okay. Next, we'll go down to the Australian market. Where is the Australian market? Here it is. Here's the Australian market. It's basically almost like the Paris market, where it's at the top of its range and it's going to sit there and break out. But everything looks good for this to start a bullish trend to go into the top side. So definitely watch for the Australian market to break out to the top side. A couple of markets we forgot to cover. We definitely need to cover Russia now because this was actually the biggest worldwide market last year that had the biggest percentage gain. If you look at the market, for some reason my chart's not looking good on this. The daily is basically bullish trending, looking good. Unfortunately, weekly I'm not getting enough data to find out what's going on there. But this is bullish trending on the weekly too, so that looks really good there. Okay. Let's come over to the U.S. Let's go to Mexico. If you look at the Mexican market, it's bullish trending, looking really good and smooth going up. Let's go to Chile. Chile is basically in a pullback phase right now. Okay. And then now let's start going for the U.S. market. So let's go to our charts and look at the U.S. markets. Remember, the left-hand side is basically a daily time frame. The right-hand side is a weekly time frame. So let's go cover the Nasdaq market first, the NQ. And if you look at the Nasdaq, this is basically looking really good on both time frames. This is bullish trending on both time frames. No hesitation at all. Let's go look at the ES. ES is basically bullish trending on both time frames too, looking really good there. Notice one thing: the Tinkins is not moving with price on the weekly at all. Okay, for the ES. Now notice that on the Nasdaq. Okay, it's pointing up, but still was close until the last 2 days, and on the ES it looks further. Okay. Okay. So just take a look. It looks like these markets are getting overbought now because the price is starting to escape the Tinkinson on the weekly too. And if you look at the Dow futures are bullish trending too. And then if you look at the Russell futures, you'll see bullish trending too. And so you could see that all U.S. markets are pretty much bullish trending right now. However, they look like they're starting to get to a overbought situation. So I'll be very careful. If you're got existing positions, I'll definitely tighten the stops. If you haven't got into existing positions, I'll be very careful unless you see a really great opportunity in entering something on that global market. Hope you enjoyed this week's video. We'll see you guys next week.